Welcome. It is really good to have this way of being together again, even though it's not face-to-face. At least we get to connect, and this is better than being disconnected. During the message I'll be bringing you, I am not going to be able to do it all at once. It'll be in 3 different packages of 2 minutes, so you may have a pause now and then. The focus for the meditation I'd like to share with you is on this wonderful promise from God through Jesus that God is working all the time through good and evil to bring good to us. Everything will work together for good to those who love Him. And my question I'd like us to ponder is, as we walk with Jesus through this time that it was the worst time of His life, where and how does God bring good to us? And on this Maundy Thursday, I suspect it's quite easy for all of us to come up with a wonderful good that God brought to us through this Holy Supper that Jesus spent with them as His last time of togetherness. It was indeed the Lord's Supper that was a blessing to them, and it was a blessing that He wanted to continue into our lives, as it was the means for Him to remind us of His continual presence with us, every moment of every day of our lives. And as we think of the fact that we can't have this Holy Supper at this time, we have to think twice about where is the good, and that's what I want to talk about with you. Where is the good when we can't have the Holy Supper? So, how can we celebrate Holy Communion, this great gift from God, when we can't get together to do it? That's the question I'd like us to look at. And the answer comes from first reminding ourselves that Holy Communion is not meant to be a magical refill for getting reconnected to God or to Jesus when our own hearts are running low. It is a reminder to us, do this to remember me, Jesus says. It's a reminder to us of this wondrous reality that all the time, every day, during good and bad, the living presence of Christ is always a part of our being and our heart and our mind when we open ourselves to live in that truth. So the question is not, what can we do when we can't celebrate Holy Communion, meaning we can't have the bread and wine to remind ourselves of His presence. We do it by reminding ourselves of Holy Communion, of the Holy Communion we're continually living in. And there's a variety of other ways we can do that beside the bread and wine. That's what I'd like to share with you, is 2 simple ideas of how there are other ways in which we can remind ourselves that indeed Christ is within us and we share in the glory of God. First way is with hugs. I suggest that we consider the act of hugging those who are with us in our homes. If you have another person in your home, that having simply the hug be another way in which we can remind ourselves that Christ is within us and between us. And that's what I want to share with you next. And we do this by not just hugging, but adding a few words to our hugs that connect God and God's presence and love with the hug we're sharing. Like a phrase of, God loves you like this, or this is God's hug for you. And then give yourself a moment of quietness or pondering at love to allow the wonder of that reality, that this is like God hugging me, and He is, sink to your heart and refresh you. But there's a second simple way also to bring Holy Communion, the reality of our ongoing Holy Communion with God, to life. And that's in the shower. In the shower, you do it simply by thinking about the water that's cleansing your body on the outside, being also the water that God talks about as being the washing that he gives us in the forgiveness of sins, which we're reminded of in Holy Communion, but can be reminded of even more powerfully with this water flowing on our bodies. And we can do that by simply saying this brief phrase to ourselves from God, where it would be like God saying to us, I wash you clean, inside and out. You are nothing but beautiful and good to me. In the shower, in your hugs, we can bring this wondrous reality of being one with God, Holy Communion, more fully to life and more fully to our hearts, and more fully alive in our living, if we remember Christ is in us. We share in the glory of God. God bless you.